Welcome to Toastmasters International. This is a three-part series on introducing new members to Toastmasters International. This first video is for new members orientation. It's meant to help new members become familiar with the resources that are available to you, both online and the hard copy things that you'll be receiving in the post. The second of the series will be on orienting you to what happens at meetings, the various functionary roles, and the activities that happen at meetings so that you have a better understanding of what's going on during a meeting. The third part of the series will be about club officers, the club functions, so you know what's going on inside and outside of the club in the bigger scope of Toastmasters International and the opportunities that you have available for both speaking and leadership development. Before we get too far, let's talk about Toastmasters International just a little bit. Established in 1926, Toastmasters International has been around for a long time. It has served countless thousands of people, millions of people, over the last nearly 100 years. One of the things that creates a knitting of all of the values that we embrace are the Toastmasters mission. In the Competent Communication Manual that you will have received in the post by now, on page 2, it lists the mission of Toastmasters International. And you can read along with me if you like. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. That is what the club exists to do. Also on page 2 of the Competent Communication Manual, you'll find a Toastmasters Promise. Essentially, the Toastmasters Promise is an expansion on the idea of the Toastmasters values. The Toastmasters values are respect, integrity, service, and excellence. If you're doing those values, or you're expressing those values at a club meeting, and the club is expressing those towards you, respect, integrity, service, and excellence, then you will be assured that you not only are getting the value from your Toastmasters experience, but you're also giving it. What I'd like to do is walk through a couple of items in the Competent Communicator Manual with you so that you are aware of what's in there and you know where to find it. If you will turn to page 4, on page 4 it talks about your experience, how the program works, the leadership training part of this, and the various rewards of being a member. Now I'd like to point out something to you because this is a phrase that I've come up with of late. I consider Toastmasters as a leadership learning lab. Now you may have joined Toastmasters because you want to develop just your oral communication skills. However, every single time you stand in front of an audience, you're exercising from some form of leadership. And as a result of that, Toastmasters has provided 2 tracks of education that you can work through simultaneously that you might be able to develop leadership and communication skills. That's why these projects, are done in tandem. On page 6, it talks about how to get started. In getting started, the very first thing that is suggested that you do is ask your Vice President of Education for a mentor. Now in this particular club, we assign mentors because we want you to get off on the right foot right from the beginning. Then it asks for you to schedule your icebreaker speech as soon as possible. Get that done as soon as possible. There are a number of reasons why. As I've observed over a number of years, and I've seen statistically this to be true, if you don't give your icebreaker within the first 30 days and you continue to postpone it or procrastinate in the delivery of your icebreaker, chances are you will never do your icebreaker. If you don't do your icebreaker, then you can't go on to project number 2 and project number 3. The mentor who is assigned to you will help you through the first 3 projects. They're not trying to push you along, they're trying to encourage you to get through these first 3 projects, because then you are more likely to achieve the goal that you came for, which is to accomplish all 10 projects and be able to speak with confidence and develop your personal growth in this process. Point number 3 says to turn to page 66 and read the About Your Club. This has to do with meetings and meeting agendas. We're going to cover that in part 2, but if you want to jump ahead and read page 66 and About Your Club, please do so. However, at this time I'd like you to go to point number 4. Study effective evaluation that you can get online at www.toastmasters.org. We're going to talk for just a minute because I'd like you to go to www.toastmasters.org and be able to download a few items right now. There are several things you can access on Toastmasters.org that are free. You don't even need to go and log in at the moment, but if you are able to log in to Toastmasters.org and you've received your login information, please stop the video right now and go to Toastmasters.org and log in to be able to access these documents that I'm going to be telling you about. The first one is effective evaluation. Now, the link will be provided to you so that you can go directly to it. Or you can Google it by going to Toastmasters and effective evaluation. It will take you almost immediately to the very first option for effective evaluations. There are 3 other items that I'd like you to download as well. Your body speaks, gestures, and your speaking voice. If you are a soft-spoken speaker and you want to be able to project your voice more effectively, your speaking voice is absolutely essential reading for you because it'll tell you how to develop and how to develop your speaking voice, project, and how to speak. It'll also give you exercises to do that will help you to develop your embouchure of your mouth and speak well to an audience. Gestures will help you to be able to develop effective use of your body language. I'd like to step back to it for a moment to the effective evaluation document that you can download. When you are being evaluated by a fellow member, one of the great things that you get is this instantaneous feedback on your speech presentation. Understanding what constitutes an effective evaluation helps you to understand and appreciate what the evaluator is trying to accomplish or should be trying to accomplish for you. It also gives you a good standard for yourself on evaluating your own progress. The last thing that we're going to be covering before we go on to a couple of other items is to begin preparing your speech. If you do not have a copy of your Competent Communication Manual, you can still prepare for your first speech, the icebreaker, by accessing the Icebreaker Speech PDF through Toastmasters.org. You can either go to the link that I'm providing below, or you can just type in Toastmasters and Icebreaker, and you'll be able to pull up the PDF for that. Either way, get on your agenda and start preparing your icebreaker now. With an idea that you want to speak on, something about yourself, because this is your opportunity for your club to get to know you. Before we move on to the Competent Leader Manual, I'd like you to turn to page 60 of your Competent Communication Manual. On that page is a diagram of the education program. The education program consists of 2 tracks, the communication track and the leadership track. These 2 work in tandem together for the new member to be able to achieve their goals. The highest award that you can earn through going through both tracks is what's called the Distinguished Toastmasters Award. Please look through these different track options available to you. On the additional page, page 61, it'll walk through how you can achieve the various awards through the education program. Now let's move on to the Competent Leadership Manual. The Competent Leadership Manual also consists of 10 projects. However, it's slightly different in the way it's structured. If you'll turn to page 6 in your Competent Leadership Manual, you see a project completion record, or matrix as I like to refer to it. On that matrix lists the various projects that you can accomplish: listening, critical thinking, giving feedback, time management, planning and implementation, organization and delegation, facilitation, motivation, mentoring, and team building. In the column to the right of that project list are the different roles that you can fill in order to be able to achieve those particular skill sets. Things like counter, speech evaluator, speaker, table topics evaluator, grammarian, all the roles that happen in the meeting, and several roles that are conducted outside of the meeting are necessary for you to complete your projects for the Competent Leadership Award. Now, if you were to accomplish all of the Competent Leadership Award requirements and the 10 projects in the Competent Communication Manual, you would receive 2 different awards. 1, a Competent Communicator Award, and 2, a Competent Leader Manual. Something I want to point out to you on this matrix. Each project has a minimum required. So for instance, on project number 1, you have to complete only 3 of the 4 roles. You don't have to do all of them. You don't have to do all 25 of these projects. You only need to do the ones based upon the project requirement. So project number 1 requires 3 of 4. Project number 2, critical thinking, requires 2 of 3, etc. Don't try to do them all. Just try to do it every time you do a project or time you do a function at a meeting. Make sure you have this. Now, if you bring both of your manuals, your textbooks for your success, if you bring both of these to your meetings, then you'll be able to get credit towards your Competent Communicator or your Competent Leadership Award. Within the next month or so, you'll also receive the Toastmasters magazine. This magazine is full of lots of good stories, lots of good tips that you would have, and various other resources in regard to public speaking and Toastmasters International. Good things. If you're a writer, you can also submit an article in there and develop your written communication skills. Last of all, I'd like to just close with this encouragement to you. You are part of a large organization, you're part of a club within a large organization that's specifically oriented to help you to achieve your goals. In order for you to achieve your goals, you have to be self-motivated in this process. Your mentor will help you, will encourage you, will give you positive feedback, help you in ways to develop where you want to go in achieving your goals. But it's really up to you to do that. The mentoring program is for active membership. To remain active, you need to be attending at least one every three meetings. If you stop attending those meetings, then the mentoring program is of no value to you and therefore will stop. Stay active, stay consistent, hit your goals, schedule meetings, schedule activities at meetings like speaking or a functionary role, so that you're always on being stretched and doing things that may push you a little bit further. The next videos will be on what happens at meetings. Until then, this is Derek Trimble signing out for your mentoring program.